Hey TJ, a lot of stuff or relationships you've had pretty much ended up in shit, like free speech vids. You try to work with Rick on That Fat Atheist and that fails. You work with Cody and that fails. You promised the Not Productive site would be up and it would be awesome, yet you've constantly pushed the release date back. And now we have this subpar beta version. Do you think that you're just unlucky and that people have always wronged you? Or do you think that maybe it might be something to do with you? That is our opening fucking question. All right, so let's take it apart piece by piece. Hey TJ, a lot of the stuff or relationships you've had have pretty much ended up in shit like free speech vids. Yeah, it's called life. All right? You know, not everything fucking works out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I fucking disabused you of some notion of a perfect world. But yeah, we don't live in that. Okay, you try to work with Rick on That Fat Atheist and that fails. You know what? Rick was a good guy. Okay, we just had a misunderstanding over some fucking money. It happens. Obviously it went too far. You work with Cody and that fails. You act like I worked with Cody for like 10 minutes. And then he fucking was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I worked with Cody for like a year. You know, it wasn't like it was a fucking short-lived thing, okay? How long did you think he was going to shoot the fucking videos? Cody's a flighty motherfucker. That's just obvious from his very nature. Okay. You promised the Not Productive site would be up and it would be awesome, yet you've constantly pushed the release date back. And now we have this subpar beta version. Well, listen. I mean, you go through like this whole process. You make a lot of fucking mistakes. I mean, like if you have this expectation in life of like I'm gonna do this big thing, and I'm gonna make no mistakes along the way, well then you're fucking stupid. You're gonna fail. Okay? You can't just be like, oh well, that didn't work out. I gotta just give up and go fucking this way. No, okay? You gotta fucking keep going. You gotta keep fucking trying to fix the problems that arise. And I don't feel like our beta version is subpar. I feel like if you compare it to a lot of the beta versions of sites that went on to become successful, it looks pretty fucking good. So, it's not done, and I hope that as we progress and evolve, you will find our site more to your liking in the future. Do you think that you're just unlucky with people that have always wronged you, or do you think that maybe it might be something to do with you? Well, I'll tell you what. It probably is something to do with me. But I don't think it's because I'm like a hard person to work with or something, because I feel like I'm pretty accommodating in business relationships. But I think I might be a poor judge of character to an extent, because I tend to want to believe the best about people and try to give people more benefit of the doubt than others would. And I think that has turned out to unfortunately be a failing. It's probably just because there's something idealistic about me that compels me to believe that people are better than they really are. Yeah. If everyone was okay with being naked all of the time, what would the world be like? I really don't think it'd be any different, because, most people just don't want to be naked. First of all, it'd be a lot fucking colder. But, how many people really want to walk naked on the streets of fucking New York City? I mean, I'm sure there's people who already do it fucking now, but how many people really want to do that? I'm sure there'd be a cultish group of people it's so freeing, man. It's so free to be naked, man, on the streets, man. But Joe the cab driver, yeah, I'm gonna be free. He don't want to be free. He's grateful for the clothes he got on. It hides the ugliness that is his body. Okay, I know what I'm talking about here. So I don't think America would really be all that different. I don't think most people would take advantage of that law. Maybe in certain situations, like at the beach, people would be like, yeah, we're at the beach. Time to be naked. Because people are practically naked on the beach anyway. Also, do you think that kids in America don't get a proper sex education? I mean, isn't that just obvious to everyone? Okay, because conservatives don't even want kids to have sex education at all. They just want kids to be like, well, the stork comes and brings the baby and drops it down the fucking chimney. It's like, okay, what, you could believe that when you're fucking 18 years old? That's kind of a fucking big bombshell for your 18th birthday. By the way, of course, human beings are hardwired with some understanding of this shit to begin with. So, I mean, it's just stupid to fucking just, yeah, you have all these urges and we have the ability to explain them to you, but we're not gonna, because Jesus. And then the liberals are the exact opposite. They like, just tell them the fucking information they need to know. And the compromise is, okay, we'll tell them the information, but we gotta fucking sprinkle some bullshit in there, you know? We gotta fucking kind of talk about it like it's not till after marriage. And that's, okay, you gotta fucking genuflect to this antiquated social institution first, okay? I'm married, by the way, so I'm a total hypocrite. At what age did you lose your virginity, and how was it? It's not losed, or not lost. It's not lose. It's loose, loose, like it's a pit bull. I've never done that. I've never fucking loosed my virginity. I've lost it, but I've never loosed it. I'm sorry. So I guess that I'm still a virgin in that sense of the word. That nonsensical sense of the word. If I write a manga, it's actually pronounced manga, but I've given up, about God dying, would you read it? Probably not. It's not because I'm like being a dick or something, like, oh, I'm not gonna read your shitty manga. No, it's just like I'm busy, and you know, there's other books that I haven't read that I've wanted to read for a long time, and I probably wouldn't, you know, take my time to just do that, because I mean, you're not like a proven author or anything, so no offense. Older Snake asks, I guess I'm reading the usernames now? No. How much do you think America differs from Scandinavia and general Europe? What is this, social studies class? Fuck off. I mean, it's an okay question. I'm just not, I don't think it's going to be very entertaining. So, I think it differs in many ways that are generically obvious and should already be understood by everyone. Why did you choose to be bisexual? I choose? What? I don't know. It just seemed better, like, because there's more variety. It's like, I taught myself to like avocados, too. Like, I didn't used to like avocados. It's like, I don't want a fucking avocado. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start liking avocados, and I just willed myself to. And it's the same way. It's really not. I was just fucking with you. Can you turn pep talks into pep rallies? No. I turn pep talks into fucking suicide pacts. That's what I do. If I write a manga, like, you already fucking asked me this, you fucking piece of shit. Is Grendel a virgin? Well, Grendel's balls were chopped off at birth. So, well, not at birth, but, you know, like several weeks later. So.
What the fuck, man?
What? I mean, it wasn't at birth, but, you know, like, by the time he was sold to us.
Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Why? How are you even surprised by the question?
Like, it's like hearing these questions get fucking progressively stranger. What the fuck is going on, man?
I don't know if you guys can hear what he's saying, but it's pretty funny. What's it like to be a sellout?
It's awesome.
It's pretty good, you know? Because you just realize that you're just like an ape on a mote of dust in the fucking great expanse of a universe that neither, like, it doesn't really give a shit if you live or die. I don't know why I said neither. I only had one thing. It doesn't give a shit. Like, the universe doesn't care about you. You're nothing. You're a fucking speck of dust. Like, a black hole could just enter our solar system tomorrow and fucking destroy us. I mean, it doesn't give a shit. The universe is just like, oh, humans, that's neat. Who cares? It's like, it cares about us the same way you care about, like, a fucking piece of shit on the road. Like, oh, look, it's a piece of shit. I'm just gonna run it over, because who cares? So, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if you're a sellout in the long run, you know? It's like, I'm gonna fucking take more of this fake money for this fake emotion to sell this fake thing. Why wouldn't you do it? Because at the end of the day, it's like, I can buy more food and stuff with this. TJ, what do you think of social Darwinism? Social Darwinism is bullshit. I've made an entire video about this. It was a very long time ago, mind you, and the audio is terrible, but I did make a video about it. social Darwinism isn't really well named. It should really be called social Spencerism because it was conceived of by Herbert Spencer, and he applied a very rigidly defined natural selection theory, I guess, to social matters in human society, and it kind of led to these group of people who just, I mean, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold were social Darwinists. I don't know if they identified as exactly that, but if you look into their ideologies, that is what they believed. They believed themselves to be superhumans. They believed the rest of humanity, by and large, to be subhumans. So they didn't even see what they did as an act of murder. They viewed themselves as superior beings that really they had the right to take the lives they took because it's an innate right just based on their superiority. And that's kind of what social Darwinism leads to. Not all social Darwinists believe exactly that, obviously, but it's a very dangerous ideology. And ideology really is underestimated, I think, in things like Columbine. I think a lot of people ignore the fact that that Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold were infected with this dangerous idea. I think people just like, oh, they're just crazy. No, I mean they're subscribing to thoughts that are floating around out there. It's not just craziness. It's a matter of putting your fucking eggs in the wrong goddamn basket. Do the Q&A, you festering piece of shit. Well, I am obviously doing it at this point. Why are you so rude? I think you should ask yourself that. I think maybe you either got too much love or not enough love as a child. And by too much love, I mean you were molested.
What the fuck, man?
What?
I just keep spacing off and just hearing really weird shit, dude.
Fucking Scotty. He keeps just tuning in and out of what I'm saying, and he'll just hear shit at random, take it out of context, and be like, what? Huh? Who?
You, man. What the fuck is going on, man?
TJ, I am a neo-communist in Australia. I often see eye to eye with a lot of your views, and anytime I don't agree with your views, I can still see where you're coming from. And my question is, have you experienced starting up an online community? How did you find it so large of a following? And what's the best advice you can give to someone who is looking to find an audience or like-minded individuals as such? I think that I got into it at a very good time, simply because I was there at the inception of the thing. And if I hadn't been there at that time, I really don't think that I would have been able to get to the point I've gotten. Like, I don't think I could get to where I am now if I just started today. I really don't think that. I think the market's just way too competitive now, and like people who just talk are kind of finding themselves marginalized by people who do like crazy shit in like Adobe After Effects where they like vomit fucking bright colors and shit, or fight dinosaurs or whatever, you know, like that's increasingly becoming the sort of user content that that people actually fucking tune in to see. Like not a lot of people are kind of like thinking like, oh well, these vlogs, it's kind of becoming a thing of the past. I mean, it's still going strong, but you can kind of see the writing on the wall. You can kind of see like the next thing coming, like the big fish is coming to eat the little fish. So, I mean, I think it's really a hard time to even like start something like what I do. I think if you want to get into the YouTube game now, you're better off learning After Effects than you are learning how to develop your fucking, you know, speech patterns or whatever, or trying to convey ideas, because that's kind of going out of vogue, unfortunately. Did you end up voting in this recent presidential election? If so, for who? I remember you saying you'd make a video endorsing a candidate, but it didn't happen. I never found a candidate that I wanted to endorse, is the problem with that. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about politics too much, so I'll just kind of leave it there. What's your opinion on military service, both in the U.S. and in general? You know, the U.S. military is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Like, for some people, it's like some kind of honored tradition. For other people, it's just like, oh, well, you know, it'll pay for my college, or it's like, well, I can't get a job, so I might as well join the military. And, so I mean, like, to some people it almost becomes like a social welfare program, and to others it's, an entirely different thing that is, more honorable and rooted in tradition and shit. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's just like, hey, you guys go fucking kill those people for us. We don't like them. You need to go kill them. And, I mean, the reality of the world we live in is just that, which we probably do have to go kill people sometimes. But I think it's become kind of widely agreed in America that we kill a lot of people that, we really ought not be killing. It sounds kind of horrible because it is. And, yeah, I mean, it's just a bad state of affairs. But I mean, you can't really look down too much on people who just join the military because it's there, and it's, for a lot of people it's something important, and for a lot of people it's just an opportunity. So it's just kind of how it goes, If you had to lose either an arm or a leg, which would you lose? Man. I guess I'd lose an arm. I'd lose my left arm. Can I choose which arm? I'd rather lose my left arm than the right arm is prioritized. Like if it's just like 50-50 with the arms, then I gotta go with a leg. Because I gotta have my right hand, okay? I mean, like, this is the hand that knows how to do every fucking thing. Then again, I guess I could learn to use this hand, but I really don't want to. I'd rather just have a wheelchair. Plus, it'd be a good conversation starter. No one really asks why you lose your arm, but I think some people can work up the nerve to ask where you lost your leg. Like, oh man, did you serve, bro? You served, man? Like, yeah, I served. Give me some fucking automatic respect, bitch. Which faction were your favorite to side with in Fallout New Vegas? That was one of my big criticisms of the game, is that I wanted to rule. I was like, yeah, I'm taking over the fucking desert, bitch. I'm gonna rule Vegas. But the game didn't interpret my intentions the same way I did. The game was like, oh, you want to free Vegas like you're some anarchist. Like, no, fuck you. I'm the exact opposite. I want to be the dictator. And you can't do that. Why? Why can't? That's the biggest flaw with that game, is you're not allowed to fucking become the fucking ruler of fucking New Vegas. That's what I was aiming for. I don't know if I'm the only one who got the same disappointment when I'm like, yeah, King of Vegas. And then they're like, and he set the wasteland free and just let the people rule themselves. Like, no, fuck that. I want to be the fucking despot. Whatever. What do you do when you're not on YouTube? I'm never not on YouTube. I'm just fucking perpetually on YouTube. This is one of many channels, okay? I have so many channels. Most of my channels don't even have any viewers. It's just me. I have a channel where I just eat grapes, It's just called TJ Eats Grapes. And I just sit there like, grape. It's there, trust me. Type it in. It's not fucking there, you stupid. It'll probably be by the fucking end of the day. If you ever wrote a novel or a movie, what would it be about? Well, I actually am writing a novel. I'm writing a novel. It's probably never gonna come out. Like, it'll come out like in 20 fucking years or something. But I am writing it. I've been writing it for a long time. What would it be about? I'm not telling you yet. What's your opinion on Buddhism, Taoism, and Hinduism? They really don't affect my daily life too much, It's not like I come into contact with those religions very much on a daily basis. I think a lot of Eastern religions kind of like teach people how to be content with poverty and suffering. And like, people in the West just don't fucking accept that sort of thinking. It's just like, yeah, well, everything is, ephemeral and just part of this very brief little flicker of existence, and we just need to learn to be content within ourselves. That's kind of like most Eastern religions kind of have that thing going on, and Western religions are like, fuck you, You fucking fucks. All you gotta do is you love God and then you just do what you want. Which is fucking take things and make money and shit. Accrue wealth. You know, which is the better, it's better, like, the Western philosophy is right, okay? I mean, I'm just saying, the Eastern philosophy of, like, happiness within. Like, and by the way, you can do a little bit of both, you know? Like, you don't have to choose one or the other. You can be like, okay, some happiness within, but also the fucking iPad or, you know, whatever fucking little gizmo or gadget or fucking sex toy or whatever you want. Something out there. You know, you can have both. You don't have to choose. But ultimately, consumerism is better because you're dealing in the tangible, you know? Some kind of inner peace. Like, what does that really do for you? Oh, I'm happy inside. Big fucking deal. I got a fucking plasma screen. Did you ever bother to / plan to get a GED? Yeah, I got the GED. Fucking, I don't know why I bothered. Just my mom, like, you gotta get the GED. Like, why? What the fuck difference is a GED possibly gonna make in my fucking life? Fucking 10 years later, I still feel the same goddamn way. It's actually more like 11 years later, nearly 12. I've never once been in a situation where it's like, woo! Good thing I got that GED, because if not, I'd have been fucked. No, never happened. It's never been useful. Who gives a shit? I mean, you can see my house behind me. Does it not look pretty nice? It looks pretty nice, doesn't it? So, I fucking got all this with no goddamn high school diploma or no GED. I'm not saying, like, I'm not pissing on education, because it really wasn't the education that I didn't like. I mean, it was just more the atmosphere. It was more being surrounded by people that I couldn't fucking stand. That's why I didn't like being in school. It had nothing to do with, you know, I don't like learning things. Like, I don't think anyone really feels that way ultimately. I mean, like, there's like maybe like there's like some fucking really stupid dunce-like motherfuckers like, I hate knowledge. But, you know, for the most part, people are curious and inquisitive. They want to know things. The reason people don't like school is not because of the fucking material. It's because of the other fucking people there. What are you like in bed? Wouldn't that be a better question for my wife? I mean, one of my many atheist harem of wives. Creepy question, I know, so I'll understand if you'd rather not say, but I'm curious. I understand most people accommodate to their partner's taste, but putting that aside, what are you like? Are you passive? Are you aggressive? Do you know what you want? Are you more interested in what your partner wants? Do you moan a lot? Or are you relatively quiet? I don't need a novel, just the gist, please. I'm usually more passive, and I'm usually very quiet, but I do make aggressive motions, I guess. It's kind of strange. I don't know. It's hard to fucking describe, because I kind of oscillate between the two depending on what seems the best for that context. You know, I try to be adaptable, I suppose, and kind of read what they're desiring and just do that. That seems to be a good strategy. It's worked out so far. You know, cases of but that also includes pretending like that's not what you're doing, by the way. I mean, like, you can't fucking let a woman always feel like I'm in tune with you. Like, sometimes you just gotta be like, I'm just here for what I want, bitch. Because, like, they like that. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, really, but, you know, that's just like a thing, you know, so you gotta pretend to be that way. Or maybe you really are that way, in which case, you know, you're probably a better lover than I am, so. Because they just like it when you don't give a shit. Cases of marijuana creating complications in people with mental disorders, marijuana making a crazy person crazier. What is your opinion on this? It wouldn't surprise me, because I noticed that it seems to accelerate my thought process and make me form slightly more complicated ideas than I normally do. So I could see how it could enhance the effects of a crazy person, but only when they're actually high. I don't think that it could have any long-term effect. I just think if you're crazy and you are inebriated in any way, chances are you're going to be crazier. Why are you so sexy? I don't know. I'm not at the moment because my hair is a little bit greasy, but, you know, normally I am pretty much the sexiest person ever. You know, the greasy hair probably bumps me down to like 8 or 9, I guess, on the list. But as soon as I wash my hair, whoop, right back up to number 1. But, you know, it's just genetics and good luck, I guess. You are aware that they... Oh, wait. This is some... Don't fucking argue in the video section, okay? It's hard enough to read this shit as it is. Let's see. God damn it. I'm scrolling past a bunch of argument. All right, so we're just going to switch to the going to... We're just going to switch back to the random question from random points in the comments strategy. If Jesus was a color, would he be your least favorite color? Well, let's see. If I assigned a color to Jesus, it would be orange. And my least favorite color is like a greenish gray. So, no. All right. Let's see what we got here. Does the thought of death scare you? I guess, like, the thought of being unprepared for death kind of scares me. The thought of leaving things unaccomplished. The thought of never reaching my full potential. Things of that nature. I think that should... I think those things should be on the mind of every person. But, I mean, I know they're not. But, I mean, does the actual, like... Death itself really isn't that fucking scary to me, I guess, because, like, after you're dead, you don't give a shit anymore. Like, there's no you, so you don't care. I mean, like, it concerns me from the standpoint of the present, like, what if that happens too soon? But once it's happened, I know that it's, like, no big deal, because I no longer have a consciousness. There is no more I, so I no longer have the ability to do anything, let alone be miserable and like, oh, this sucks. I can't believe I'm dead now. Grr. Unless there was an afterlife, of course, which I don't believe there is, but if there was, then I wouldn't even really be dead. So it doesn't really matter either way. Why is the internet so racist? I think it's because there's two kinds of people on the internet. There's people who are really sensitive, and then there's people who are trolling them for being really sensitive. I think that probably for every like one real racist, there's probably like 20 guys who are just like, I'm gonna piss off these PC fucking faggots. I mean, I that's kind of the sense I get anyway. Woo. What are your thoughts on antidepressants and similar drugs? I don't know. Maybe it's a leap forward, you know? Because I've always thought that, if people are going to use recreational drugs, no matter what you do. So why not just let the pharmaceutical companies develop recreational drugs? Because as bad as those companies are, they have the fucking resources at their disposal to make versions of those drugs with far less drawback. So maybe letting them manufacture mood-altering drugs under the pretense of treating depression and other, mental disorders will eventually lead to the recognition of the validity of taking recreational drugs as a hobby. So, yes, I think that it could actually be good from that standpoint. But, in terms of their actual effects on the mental illnesses that they purport to treat, I think that the results are pretty mixed based on my conversations with people who have used them. But I've, not really delved in any sort of empirical studies or anything, so I could just be talking out of my ass. Is married life different from unmarried life? It's better. I know. It sucks to fucking say that, because for most of my younger life, I was like, down, fuck marriage, and yeah, it's fucking, that's the man, that's the system trying to fucking keep you down. But now that I'm married, I find like, wow, I'm not like lonely. Holy shit, like I have a person that I like share my life with, and it's cool, and we just like love each other and fucking treat each other nice, and we have like a little, you know, spat here and there, like, but you know, it's all good. So yeah, I mean, it's different, it's better. South Park or Family Guy, you know, at this point, I'm not really too keen on either of them, honestly. I mean, South Park is probably the more well written and funny of the two shows, but I mean, they're both just. I mean, why do they have to be so fucking ideological all the fucking time? It just seems like, hey, it's Family Guy, so let's see what the fucking liberal agenda is. And South Park is like, let's see what the libertarian agenda is. The only thing we don't have is a fucking cartoon that just shows the Republican agenda, but that's because it wouldn't even be funny. It would just be like someone fucking like lighting a prostitute on fire or something. Like, yeah, that's funny. He burned the heathen. I mean, one thing I'll give Family Guy that they don't. I mean, at least they don't have the politically correct thing. You know, at least it's not too politically correct, because, like, you know, you see that more and more on like Tumblr and places like that. This rampant political correctness, like, yeah, it's kind of what I was talking about in my ism video, where this slavish devotion to an ideology leads to this need to control everyone's perception of everything. You have to feel the same way about things that I do. You know, difference of opinion is horrible. Nothing is worse than difference of opinion. We all must agree and have the same sensibilities. Do you think racism is just inherent human nature and will never go away? I don't know. I'm not sure about that, honestly. Because, I mean, part of me says that human beings will always segregate into groups, but I don't know if race will always be prioritized in that hierarchy of how we will segregate ourselves. I don't know if it's always going to be like all us white guys together, right? You know, yeah. And then it's all the black guys. I mean, I know that people do still tend to self-segregate. I mean, if you look at like high schools, the black kids still kind of all hang out together, and the white kids kind of like, you know, still kind of hang out together. I mean, it seems like maybe over time there's been a lot more of like the groups, like, you know, melting into one another and doing that whole like melting pot, multicultural, whatever, you know, I don't, whichever one of those you believe, they start doing it. But, you know, you still see a lot of people who self-segregate. But I don't know if that's just because old attitudes are passed on from generation to generation, or if that's some inherent trait, you know, within human beings. I hope it's the former.
Shut up, Rambo.
If you were a scientist, what field of science would you study? I don't want to be a scientist. I know that's like heresy in the atheist community, but like I don't want to be a scientist. I'm sorry. I'm not into it. I mean, I like science. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I fucking watch nature documentaries. I read and own a lot of science books. But, you know, it's not for me. Like the whole, like, I'm going to do research and, you know, no. Don't care. Too tedious. I'd rather just fucking read the research once it's been dumbed down enough for me, and then come up with my own little conclusions and have like fun ideas that, you know, no one can prove wrong. It's like, yeah, fucking Dark Knight Rises is the best movie ever. Woo! And then, you know, someone comes along like, no, it's not. Fuck you. And it's like, no, fuck you. And we have like an eternal argument over it. But in science, it's like, yeah, this is my theory. It's like, nope, this theory here is better. It's like, oh, you're right. And there's no fucking argument. What's the fun in that? What's the fun in just being a fucking slave to the truth all the time? Subjectivity is way more fun. That's the fucking point I'm trying to drive home. For me, some people, they like the truth. And I like it too. Just not as much. I like the truth. I'm just not in love with the truth. This Tuesday, a girl in my class smiled at me from across the room. If I talk to her next week, will it be too late? Why would you look at me and be like, yeah, that's who that person probably knows good social cues. That's a keen observer of human behavior. Like, I can tell you, like, in the long term how the human species is fucking up. But if you want me to, like, interpret the behavior of an individual person, I will come up with 1,001 crazy hypotheses, none of which touch upon the reality of the situation whatsoever. So don't look at me. But yes, it's probably too late. All right, I'm doing one more question, and then I am done. I'm done. Woo! With this hard-ass job of asking... Not asking. Jesus, I can't even do my little job of answering questions. I'm fucking asking questions. Yeah, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Okay, let's see. Can you go into details of the things you did in Katrina and the things you witnessed? I think I've already gone into details somewhere. I'm pretty sure I've already told those stories. So I don't want to fucking repeat myself. I can't start repeating myself. Superman versus Goku. Who gets their ass handed to them by who? Oh, shit. I have had this very fucking argument with several people. And, it's really difficult to know simply because Goku's abilities are so fucking exaggerated that it's hard to it's hard to even imagine that it's feasible that he's as powerful as the show eventually portrays him to be. So you kind of have to almost take him down a peg in your mind, I think. Like, you almost can't interpret him as the show presents him. Like, you almost have to handicap him a little. Because, like, Superman exists in a world where the laws of physics still seem to have, like, some sway. Whereas Goku exists in a world where that shit's just been thrown the fuck out. Like, their laws of physics are anarchy, okay? So... like, you almost have to be like, you almost have to believe, like, if Superman came to Goku's world, Superman would increase in strength, whereas if Goku went to Superman's world, Goku would decrease in strength. Because the physical properties of their worlds are different. And if they met in a neutral ground, both of their powers would be affected based on the principles and laws of that neutral ground. So for that reason, I feel like they're about equal. I feel like it would be almost a tie, except for the fact that Goku seems to have more energy attacks. See, Superman doesn't have very many energy attacks. He has roughly the same strength as Goku, I think. But all he has in terms of energy attacks, he has eye lasers, and I don't know if you'd consider his freeze breath. I don't even know if that's canon anymore. But if you consider his freeze breath to be an energy attack, but the eye lasers are pretty much his only energy attack. Goku has the Kamehameha fucking thing. He has the Spirit Bomb. He has the ability to increase his speed with the Kaioken. See, I am a fucking nerd. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, motherfuckers. Yeah, but I think that Goku would prevail, not because he's overall more powerful, but just because he has more energy-based attacks. So yes. But then again, would all of Goku's energy-based attacks work in the physics of the Superman universe? Because I mean, like, to generate that much energy within, a biological body seems pretty preposterous. I mean, well, the spirit bomb draws energy from the surrounding area, so that's perhaps a little bit more believable. So maybe we could believe that the spirit bomb would work in Superman's universe, which probably would be enough to defeat Superman. Although it does take a very long time for Goku to charge the spirit bomb. I think I've spent too much time on this question. But, yeah, that's all. We're done. We're done, right? We're ending on that.